really got to try on that left-hand side. What happened?
Oh, but I've gone up and over and bloody head over biscuit. It wasn't enough stability there for myself, but no, I was busting for a bit of meat this game. It didn't seem to work out.
Hello, cheers, and welcome to the Scrum of the Earth podcast, the weekly show for the last time this year that brings you news, reviews, great interviews, and so much more, all about the world of rugby. My name is David Lawrence. I'm an American rugby fan who follows the game wherever I can find it, all over the globe. If you'd like to get in touch, well, please get in touch on Blue Sky @ofscrum, and you can always just drop a good old-fashioned email to thescrumoftheearth@gmail.com. Well, it is New Year's Eve as I record this. 2024 it's had its ups and downs, for sure. Things have finally started looking up, I guess, perhaps for the first time since the first lockdown in 2020. So here's to keeping that momentum going. So as always, we're going to start with our current updates and, not a ton to report. Regular listeners will know I have a new job, so I didn't have any vacation time saved up, which meant I couldn't travel down to Texas with the rest of the family over the holiday. I mean, it worked out all right. They were here for Christmas Day itself. My parents were able to join us as well. And then my partner and son flew down to Texas on Boxing Day, returning just last night. So I certainly missed seeing the in-laws. I would have loved, to take a nice warm stroll around a gargantuan zoo in shorts and a short-sleeve shirt. But it was also nice to have, a couple days to myself. Did I do anything productive? No, not really. Did I, in fact, catch a ton of rugby this weekend? Oh, my very yes. Oh, I almost forgot. Where is she? It's too good! It's too good! People have to know! Yes, Isaac, it absolutely is good news this week as former All Black Lima Sopoaga, he seems to have finally settled into his new home, this time playing for the Blue Sharks in Japan's second division. Sopoaga, he was featured prominently in the Amazon All or Nothing miniseries about the All Blacks, and he soon left New Zealand to ply his trade in Europe. It was my understanding that the climate, in particular, was onerous to his wife and frankly, babies. So as a result, he and his young family were profoundly unhappy. That unhappiness kind of showed in his game, which slipped from the form that he'd been on with the All Blacks. He played a stint for Lyon. He played for the Wasps before they folded. But now he and his family they seem at least to have found happiness back in the Southern Hemisphere. He now represents Samoa on the international stage. This past weekend, he produced a man-of-the-match performance for his new team to keep them unbeaten on the year. Always had a soft spot for Lima Sopoaga, so I'm just very happy to see him thriving. It's been a rough few years. So, moving on to our thoughts of the week. My thoughts this week are almost inevitably on the year that was. A lot has happened. It was a rough start with a really punishing winter here in New England, followed by many failed attempts to get a new job, something I was in desperate search of. The job I had was getting worse, almost daily. It was tough to keep a positive attitude for a while there, but of course, good things, they also come along. My Free Jacks won their second consecutive MLR championship. My son has been doing incredibly well in school and is very excited for the spring when he can get back out onto the baseball field. As you know, I eventually did get a job that I really like, and on top of everything, my partner is about to feature in a great new play in Boston while she finishes her master's degree. She never ceases to amaze me. So what would I like out of 2025? Well, so 3 years ago, we had a big trip to Scotland all planned out, but with the combination of COVID and being laid off, that turned out to be impossible, and we still haven't managed to make it work. I have budding hopes. However, maybe this summer will finally be the time. So anyway, if you're a listener somewhere in the UK, please, get ready. Hop in your car. I was going to say gas it up, petrol it up. Get ready to get on a train this summer. Come join us. As Dallin Sanford would like to say, we'll come and raise a few jars. So cheers to everyone. Happiest of New Year's to you all. May 2025 be your best year yet. Of course, that brings us to our reviews. Got to start, I have to say, with a little bit of a complaint. So the Rugby Network, they were already carrying just one PWR match per weekend. This weekend, they didn't even do that. On Thursday or Friday, I looked at the schedule and saw there was a nice, juicy doubleheader. They listed the PWR fixture between Harlequins and Leicester Tigers, which would be followed up by the same matchup with the Premiership clubs. By the way, guess which one actually got broadcast where I am? Yeah, you got it in one. It's such a bad look right now. Like, they've made such a massive thing out of the Alona Mar signing, but they can't broadcast a single game this weekend. Like, anyway, I don't want to spend time talking bad things about the PWR because I love this competition. I see it getting bigger and better all the time, but sometimes they just don't make it easy. But let's start with the PWR. Nevertheless, most teams in this competition have played 10 games thus far, though 4 teams only have 9 under the belt. So if I'd had to guess before the season started, I'd have said that Gloucester Hartbury would again be right on top of the table, probably undefeated, but that's not how it's gone. Things have been a lot less lopsided this season, and it's been great, in my opinion. So as things stand, it's Harlequins topping the table. It's been at least 5 wins in a row. I actually lost track. They're at 8-2. I was going to say 8-0-2, but I realized there have been no draws this season, so why the extra digit? They're on 40 league points. Making things exciting is right behind them, right on their tails, are 3 teams within 3 points and plenty of time for things to move around. So in second place, Exeter, they're just 2 points off and have only played 9 games, by the way. Behind those Chiefs are Gloucester Hartbury, big surprise, and Saracens, both at 7-3, with the reigning champs on 38 points and Saris on 37. Within striking distance, though, Bristol Bears, who may or may not have a secret weapon that they're about to unleash. Let it be said, okay, there is a chance it's going to go badly. There's a possibility it's going to backfire. But you know what? I'm excited anyway. It looks like we're all going to find out shortly this coming weekend. If the team sheets were right, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't incredibly excited. So Trailfinders and my Loughborough Lightning, they're locked at 18 points. Ealing have only played 9 games, though. At the bottom, that leaves Leicester Tigers at 1-8 and just 6 points. But that's still unbelievable. Leaves a chasm between them and the absolute bottom, winless Sale, who haven't even managed a single losing bonus point this year. There are 7 rounds left, so as I said, there's still plenty of room for the table to shift, but I think it's fair to cross off those bottom 2 and, maybe even my team along with Ealing. So, okay, that brings us to this coming weekend when we'll have the aforementioned Trailfinders at home for Harlequins. Yikes! Leicester, they'll take on Sale, hoping to continue their frustration. Those are both on Saturday. On Sunday, my mom's birthday, of course, we'll have my Lightning at home for Saracens. Uh-oh. And then guess what? If the squad announcement I saw was accurate, we could see one Alona Mar of the USA suiting up for her new Bristol Bears outfit to face Gloucester Hartbury, a game with title fight written all over it. Anyway, for the record, this past weekend, Harlequins, they smashed the Tigers 42-17, Leicester leading 7-0 before 10 minutes had gone by, only to fizzle out the rest of the way. Ellie Kildun, she nabbed 2 tries just in the final 15 minutes, but it was long over even before that. So as for the games coming this weekend, will they be televised? Will the most hyped debut of any player I have seen in the history of following this sport actually be available if you can't make it in person to Ashton Gate? You know what? I'll believe it when I see it. Anyway, meanwhile, over in the English Gallagher Premiership, the second half of the doubleheader ended in a draw between Harlequins and Leicester. The rebranded Northampton Saints obliterated Newcastle 61-0, and Exeter, they got their first win of the year against Gloucester, 22-15. For weeks now, I've been hearing about the exciting brand of rugby that the Bristol Bears men have been playing, so I made a point to tune in. Turns out I picked a bad week. You know what I mean? They got decimated by Sale, who haven't lost since October 26th, by the way. So the fun one this weekend was for me, Bath, who just absolutely beat up on Saracens 68-10, and a record-breaking total. Finn Russell, he had a sublime game, one of those performances where every kick has the comms just like falling off their chairs, talking over each other in an effort to lay the most accolades at his feet. Bath, they look well on pace to get back into the finals this year with 2 more wins than the next 2 closest rivals. Saracens got taken down a peg, but still round out the top 4, and as of right now, we no longer have any winless teams in the Premiership. Kind of cool. Good job, guys. Meanwhile, hopping over to France for the latest round of the top 14, I gotta be honest, I've been way behind in this competition. I realized because they play so many rounds, I kind of just use that like as an excuse to kind of not pay attention. I feel like I've missed a lot of great action coming into this weekend. The top end of the table held no real surprises. UBB starting the weekend on top with powerhouse Toulouse, just a whisker away. By the end of the weekend, it was Toulouse back on top by virtue of their whopping 8 bonus points, with Toulon and Bayonne third and fourth place, tied on 38 points. Clermont are fifth with 34, and La Rochelle have quietly, sort of surged back to be in sixth place with 32 points. The next 6 teams, starting with Parole City, they're all in the 20-point range. It's really pretty wide open. At the very bottom, of course, is Vannes, whose relegation might already be a mathematical certainty. So this this past weekend, only one home team lost. Clermont losing 18-22 to La Vie Parole, while Pau doubled up Vannes 48-24. Bayonne more than doubled up visiting Cast 33-12. The best game on Saturday for me was, of course, my Border Beagles coming through at the end for a dramatic, if somewhat soporific, victory 21-17 over Toulon. That was a big result in terms of table positioning, but it still didn't prevent Toulouse from reclaiming their usual spot at the head of the table. So all of that action was on Saturday. On Sunday, we had, of course, I can't even believe I'm going to say it. As an American, it just feels weird. We had an exciting draw between Stumblebum, Racing 92, and unpredictable Lyon. So after a late try from Semi Randrandra, Nolan Legaric, he kicked a penalty to give Racing the lead with only 2 minutes left. However, right at the death, it was Martin Mialand, I think I have his name right, answering with a kick of his own to tie things up on the road. 25-25 was where it would end at the very death. End at the death? Death at the end? One of those things. That was the final score. Elsewhere, Perpignan, they took care of business against La Rochelle, 21-13. And then the weekend ended with a belter. Toulouse pulling away late to nab another bonus point win, 38-23 over the drink boxes of Paris. Movaca, he had an incredible, sensational game again, getting the last try of the game. It was like he was hoisting a trophy. And that, you know what? That wrapped up things over in the PWR. Okay. Finally, it was the second half of our festive derbies in the URC. I have to say, kind of a weird round. First of all, the most important thing, gotta give a quick shout out to Not That Kind of Doctor Harley Worthy, whose Cardiff team is, as I'm recording this right now, in third place on the URC table. Do your ears deceive you? You wonder? Has David finally gone mad? Well, perhaps. But the fact is, the artists formerly known as the Blues, no, not those Blues, the other Blues, they're enjoying what I believe has to be their best ranking ever since the advent of the URC. Harley, congratulations. What a moment. We were chatting about it this week, and naturally, the rap podcast, your podcast, is off this week. So you're not even going to get a chance to properly crow about it. So you know what? I figured I would step in and do it for you. Do yourself a favor. Screenshot the current standings. Make that your wallpaper so that no one can ever deny this moment actually happened. To be fair, Cardiff, they play Ospreys on New Year's Day. Let's see, that game is in 15 and a half hours from now as I'm recording this. By the time you hear this, that bubble may have already burst. But you know what? I think you're going to beat the Ospreys. I know you're not feeling too good about it, but as you and Hugh have both pointed out, current form means nothing in Welsh derbies, but I still think you got it, my friend. Anyway, The only Friday fixture in the URC was Munster somehow, predictably losing to the Leinster juggernaut 7-28. Munster apparently forgot to ask St. Nick for a working lineout this holiday season. They looked really bad, but part of me thinks that the Leinster defensive machine has just kind of found a new level. When you were watching it, it felt like no team that I can think of is actually breaking through that wall this weekend. And Munster, they also have a ton of injuries. I was thinking maybe they should hire Toby Booth. He's really good at explaining injury crises to the press. So depressing game of the week went to my Connacht. They lost meekly at home, 7-17 to a meh Ulster team, scoring not even a single point in the second half. After the game, Bundy Aki was quoted as saying, "Wait, this contract is binding? Are you sure? Really?" Even Mac Hansen had nothing to complain about, with the Ulstermen outplaying the home side in every aspect of the game. Yeah, man, that one sucked. Anyway, the Wahahapa was game of the week was, of course, the second leg of the 1872 Cup, where Edinburgh surprised every single person who's ever watched rugby with an admittedly boring but effective 10-7 win over Glasgow. Not going to sit here and say it was fun to watch, but in all honesty, I'm just really glad that my buddy Craig Mann, he got a nice win. It's been a stretch of really disappointing results for a long time at this point. Craig Mann, glad you're feeling good. Things have kind of turned up at the end of the year for you there, so I'm really happy about that. Saw that one coming. Game of the week was Zebre losing at home to Benetton, 12-24. Pretty much regret every single minute I spent watching that one. That was actually exciting. Game of the week was definitely Stormers versus Sharks. The Stormers, despite yet more injury concerns, taking down a surging, though, Etzebeth-less. By the way, I spent all day yearning to say Etzebeth-less. 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 Let's all say it. Etzebeth-less. That was the Sharks this weekend. A little surprised to see that. But anyway, you know what? Tomorrow is New Year's Day. We're going to close out the festive season with a doubleheader of Welsh fun. Number 3, Cardiff, at home for, were we even good last year? Ospreys. And then that'll be followed by, what I consider an exfoliant for the eyeballs. Scarlets hosting Dragons. By the way, closing out a round of action with Scarlets versus Dragons when there are no games for 3 full weeks after that. Come on, URC. I love you as a competition, but please, take a glance over to France, see how they do it. Figure it out. So by that music, you'll know, of course, it's time for this week's Diamond in the Ruck Award. This week, the award goes to Finn Russell. Of course, Mr. Russell, your mastery of the fly half position was on full display this weekend. I feel sure coaches will be bookmarking that replay as an instructional tool for generations to come. 8 conversions only added to that trademark wry smile of yours. It is truly a joy to behold you and your entire repertoire week in, week out, and especially this weekend in a blowout. I feel very lucky to live in a time when I get to watch you, Finn Russell. I hope to never lose track of that and to be aware that that's one of those things that I should be grateful for. Finn Russell, congratulations to you, for you are this week's Diamond in the Ruck. Well done, sir. Okay, that of course brings us to our updates and previews. This is a slightly weird time of year for us. The Prem is still in full swing. We've got Newcastle versus Harlequins on Friday, Gloucester versus Sale, Leicester versus Exeter, and Saracens versus Bristol on Saturday, and then a real gem, a rematch of the final, Northampton Saints versus Bath on Sunday. I will definitely be watching that one. The PWR is also giving us a full slate, but we already kind of went through all those games earlier. Set your clocks. This is the weekend when we allegedly get to see what the hype's been all about. Could go either way. Anyway, the top 14, unsurprisingly, also has another full round on offer with not a single compelling matchup that I can see. There are 6 games on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. And, I might have to take back that comment about the URC trying to learn something from the top 14 schedulers because, woof, look at that slate. It is not fun. Anyway, the European Cups are on hold for another week. The Sevens, they'll also return on January 10th. But if you're a URC player on a team that's out of contention, you know what? Enjoy yourself a lovely, 3 or 4 weeks break. It's going to be nice. Well, my friends, that does it for another week. I'm glad to be putting a cap on 2024. Looking forward to a new year full of new opportunities. Don't forget Six Nations is also right around that corner. At some point, I guess I'm going to have to find time to talk about the British and Irish Lions. Though at this stage, I'm just not looking forward to it. It's like the week of build-up before the Super Bowl. All the talk just kind of makes the actual final product less compelling, less interesting. Anyway, that's just my take. Anyway, I really appreciate all of you for listening all year. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Please, tell a friend. We're at, I think, 57 or 58 subscribers now. The next goal is obviously 100. That's almost double what we've got, though, so I could use your help. A little holiday help, a little holiday gift. Tell your friends. Point some people when they're not away from, when they walk away from the computer, just walk over and be like, subscribe. And they won't even know. That's how I'm going to get most of my listeners, I think. But anyway, to all of you across the globe, cheers. Talk to you soon. And be well.
I wish I could get up at 11:30 every morning after being out all night God knows where.
You want to tempt the wrath of the whatever from high atop the thing?